the Madman!
Hooray! It's card reveal season for Kobolds and Catacombs. We've got 9 cards, including what might be the best card in the set. Branching Paths, 4 mana. You get to choose 2 of these. Draw a card, give your minions +1 attack, gain 6 armor. And it's because of this flexibility which might make the card okay. Because all of the options by themselves, save for gain 12 armor for 4 mana, aren't really that great. Given that this card is so much worse than Savage Roar for an aggressive deck, and it seems like it would not be put in an aggressive deck, and it's meant to be in a control deck, and then you would mainly either choose to draw a card twice against control matchups and gain 12 armor against aggro matchups. This card does have synergy with Lesper Jasper Spellstone. It's been confirmed that if you gain like 6 armor in one go, you don't upgrade the Lesser Jasper Spellstone twice. But if you gain 6 armor twice, I have to imagine it works like you gain 6 armor, and then your Jasper Spellstone would upgrade, and then you gain 6 armor again, and then your Jasper Spellstone would upgrade. So that's some synergy. Kathrena Winterwisp. Is this the first Hunter Legendary that's going to be really good? Battlecry and Death Rattle recruit a beast. You know what this card looks like to me? It looks like Aya Blackpaw. Aya Blackpaw does cost 2 mana less, but the beasts are like way better than Aya, and unfortunately Hunter can't usually go with Jades. Now the way that recruit works, for those who forget, is that it pulls a random beast from your deck and just puts it into play. Like, you can imagine how insane the card is if she actually summons 2 Savannah Highmanes, right? And you could build your deck to almost always get that result or better if you had only like Savannah Highmane or better cards in your deck. I don't think it would be that bad to put it into your usual mid-range Hunter deck either though. Ancient of Lore was a card that was so good that it had to get nerfed severely, so I had to drew 1 card instead of 2. For 1 mana more than Ancient of Lore, you're getting +1/+1 in stats, and you're not only just drawing the cards, you're putting them directly into play. That's pretty insane. So even if you got just 3 mana worth of Beast into play, that's like a 2 mana 6/6 when you really round this out. So that's why I think this card's gonna be really good. That's when you just put it into your default mid-range Hunter deck. If you put it into a deck that's more tailored towards the high end, she's really insane in that case. Call of the Wild is what made mid-range Hunter really good. Kathrena will get you 3 things as well. Immediately only 2, but the 6/6 is probably better than the 4/4. And the beast you get is probably better than Leok. So that's just a comparison to how good she is. Level Up is a 5 mana spell. Give your Silverhand recruits +2/+2 and taunt. There's currently Silverhand recruit decks in Wild. I'm not actually sure whether or not this card would be good enough for that, because it's like Quartermaster. The main problem is you don't get the 2/5 of Quartermaster. And it turns out that if you have a card at the same mana cost and you remove 7 stats from a card, that typically makes the card suck. It pains my heart to say that this is probably going to be a 1-star card. Of course, we're not rating the cards with stars yet because we have to see all the other cards in the set before we make our judgment. Welcome to the best card in Kobolds and Catacombs released so far, and probably the best one that will get printed. It's so insane that I'm already preparing my card rating list. I'm thinking, should 5 stars actually be the highest a card can be rated? So 4 mana, Duskbreaker, 3/3 dragon. If you're holding a dragon, deal 3 damage to all their minions. Basically, it's a Hellfire, which doesn't hit your face or the opponent's face, which tends to be good since it's an anti-aggro card. And then you get a 3/3 with it, just for funsies. And it's a dragon, which activates your other dragons. And I feel like Duskbreaker is going to be pretty much Draconid Operative version 2, and not only do you have Duskbreaker this time, you also have Draconid Operative. If there happens to be another good dragon in this set, and given that there is art for a sleeping dragon somewhere in there, there's going to be at least 1 more dragon. Dragon Priest could be absolutely insane. In the card reveal stream, they were talking about how Duskbreaker is kind of aimed for a more control style dragon deck, and that certainly could happen as well. This card is 1 mana discounted Excavated Evil, and you get a 3/3. Wow. Sudden Betrayal. Rogues are finally getting secrets. We're gonna see 2 of them here. When a minion attacks our hero, instead it attacks one of its neighbors. The first puzzle to think about is, why are we running Sudden Betrayal instead of Betrayal? And I guess the answer is you can always play Sudden Betrayal even on an empty board. But the main problem with Sudden Betrayal is you play the secret, your opponent can like play a measly 1/1 in the middle and then attack you with a minion, and then their 1/1 dies. So that seems really bad. The cool thing about this card is that it's a form of rogue healing in the sense that instead of attacking you, it attacks a minion. Really though, negating a minion's attack shouldn't be that worth this much mana. Onto a potentially good secret is Cheat Death. It won't be very secretive if this is the only good secret printed for rogue, but we'll see. So you might directly compare it with Shadow Step, which costs 0, and say, wow, this card is just 2 mana more than Shadow Step. But the big difference is that they actually have to kill your minion. And the downside to Shadow Step is your minion gets taken off of the board without doing anything, whereas in Cheat Death, they have to actively work to kill your minion. Now, the secret does unfortunately cost 2 mana, so it doesn't work with Prince Keleseth very well. But where it does work is using it as a Getaway Kodo type effect. While it's 2 mana, you're getting a 1 mana discount in Getaway Kodo because your returned minion is going to cost 2 less, which can enable some pretty good combos as well. Maybe you play it with Eye of Blackpaw. A lot of potential here, lots of good battle cries for rogues, such as Valspine Slayer as well. Auctioneer gets another life. Interesting card. The Runespear! Welcome to a legendary weapon where if you roll it on your free-to-play new account, then you probably create a new account. 3 attack, 3 durability. After your hero attacks, discover a spell and cast it with random targets. This weapon would actually be good in certain classes, but unfortunately not Shaman, because Shaman just doesn't have very many good spells that aren't targeted. A lot of the spells in Shaman benefit you having minions on the board, and typically in that deck you don't want to run an 8 mana 3 attack weapon. Maybe there are going to be spells in this expansion which happen to be really good when randomly discovered, but we're not going to hold out hopes for that because the pool of bad spells is just so high. Also, it'll cause you to overload. Lesser Mithril Spellstone. 7 mana 5/5, but if you equip a weapon, becomes 7 mana 2/5/5s. Equip another weapon, becomes 7 mana 3/5/5. So you have to have the Spellstone in your hand when you're equipping the weapons, which could be tough because this is a late game card which you typically would mulligan. Where this card is really going to depend on how good the card is, in addition to the warrior legendary weapon. If there's going to be another weapon, which will be good, possibly to take the place of Fiery War Axe. Given that warriors are currently in a pretty bad spot at the moment, I think the chances of us getting a good warrior weapon are pretty high, which means that be on the lookout for Forge of Souls, and be on the lookout for Lesser Mithril Spellstone possibly being the win condition for Control Warriors. 7 mana 10/10 was just 1 upgrade, that's pretty good. 7 mana 15/15 is pretty insane. Maybe not even in Control Warrior, maybe in Tempo Warrior. You can do something along the lines of N'Zoth's First Mate, you can play your Bloodraiser, and then on 7, you can just play 15/15, if you were to keep the Spellstone in your hand. It's an interesting idea in the Dead Man's Hand Warrior, where you actually upgrade one of these copies to the full copy and then you shuffle that as your win condition, but that's actually too slow. You can't afford a 7 mana card in the Dead Man's Hand Warrior. Probably. And last but not least, Feral Gibberer. 1 mana 1/1 after this minion attacks a hero, add a copy of it to your hand. This card does not suck as much as it looks like it does, and it is very cute, and it is a meme card, but I will say this much. There are some decks that will struggle to remove your turn 1 played 1/1, and if you manage to attack with it and then play like another 1/1, and then the opponent plays a slow answer on turn 2, like just a minion, and then you're attacking with Feral Gibberers, like both of them, then you're getting like 4 Feral Gibberers already. And then like once you get the first attack off and then you play another Feral Gibberer, it's tough to deal with both Feral Gibberers. And then once you get both of those attacks off, a total of 4 Feral Gibberers, and that's like pretty insane. Now that is really optimistic, granted. And Firefly is typically going to outclass this by a lot because you have to actually attack a hero, and this is like a terrible top deck. Well, and just as a rules clarification, for I'm being told that it's pronounced Feral Gibberer, adding copies of Feral Gibberer to your hand will not keep buffs put on the Gibberer. And that's the 9 cards revealed in the first card reveal stream. I'm going to have my card revealed November 21st, 10 AM Pacific, so make sure to watch that one. Very unique card.